Hey everybody, we are going to talk about Google Meet today. First thing is how to get there. You can either go up to your address bar and type in meet.google.com. You can also go to your app launcher, some people call it the waffle, and look for your app in there. One quick side note, if you didn't know this, you can drag and drop these icons to change the order of them. So if you have something that's further down that you use a lot, you can drag it up to the top. So I can just click and drag and put it wherever I want. Okay, let's go to Meet. To start a meeting, just simply click the big button that says join or start a meeting. Give it a name. If you are doing this with a group of kids, you can give it the name of your class that you're doing it with, whatever you want the name to be. Click continue. On the next screen is where you are going to decide if you want to start the meeting with your camera on or off. I just turned my camera off. You can also start the meeting with your microphone on or off. As the presenter, I would definitely want my microphone on and probably my camera as well. If you are hosting this, I would recommend, if it's a large group, I would encourage the members to at least start the meeting with their microphone off. If you have a lot of people and they all have their microphones on, any background noise at their place is going to get picked up and make it hard for people to hear the presenter. So one tip would be large groups encourage people to start the meeting with their microphone off. They can always turn it on if they need to speak to the group later in the meeting. And then over here on the right side where it says join now, I would use this button to join your own meeting. I would not recommend using the present button because what it does is it starts sharing your screen right away. And you might want to do that later during the meeting to show somebody something on a different tab on your screen. I wouldn't start the meeting that way. So I would just go ahead and click join now. Once you are in the meeting, there are several different ways that you can invite people to your meeting. You can add people directly right here. If you use this option, you can start typing their name, and if they are in our school organization, their name will start to populate right away. You can just simply click on their name and click send invite. This is a great way if it's a small group. If you want to do a large group, let me get that back. If you want to do a large group, it would have to be a building list. For example, if I want to get a whole group of kids at the high school, I can start typing that in, and a pre-made building list will populate here. But if you have created your own contact lists, it will not show up on this screen. There's a different way that you can use your own contact list if you've set up groups of people that you want to invite. Okay, so this is a great option for inviting just a few people, or if you want to use a building list. Okay. Another option that you can do when you're inviting people. So when I copy this information, it says it's copied to my clipboard. Then I can open up my email, I can paste it in, and then I can send it to whoever I want to, including building lists, or if I have my own contact lists built, now I can also send it to them. So that's the second way that you can invite people. And then the third way that you can set this up, and this would be a great way to set it up if you want to do this ahead of time or if it's a recurring event. So if you know you're going to be having a regular meeting with people, you can use your calendar to actually set up an invite, and it would actually put that invite and the event on everybody's calendar who accepts it. So go to your Google Calendar for that. And to get there, you can type in calendar.google.com, or you can use your app launcher again and go to calendar. And then you simply pick the day that you want this to occur. Once you click on the day, it's going to open up a box where you can start working on this. I prefer to work in the full menu option, so I go to more options right here by save. What that does is it allows me to type in my information. And then I have some options. I can have it be scheduled for an all-day event. If I know I want it at a specific time, I can uncheck all day and tell it, nope, I need this at a very specific time. And it ends at a very specific time. This doesn't affect it's not going to automatically start your meeting and it's not going to automatically end your meeting. It just creates that calendar event as a reminder that it's occurring at that time. Then if I want it to repeat, I can use this drop down right here. And what I would suggest is using the custom, because what that allows me to do is it allows me to say how many times do I want it to repeat. Like, do I want it to repeat every week or every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks? And then I also can pick which days I want it to. So if I want it to repeat every single week on Tuesday and Thursday, I can highlight both of these. And then the biggest thing to this, make sure you tell it when you want it to end. Because if you leave this on never, it's going to keep recurring all the way through the summer and into next fall, and it's never going to end. So you can pick a specific date, which I would recommend setting this up to end when the school year ends or whenever you need it to end, or you can also count how many times you want it to go. Okay, so I would probably go in here, back up to June, and say it should not go past the end of the school year. And then you can say done, and that information will show right here. Okay. So how you turn this into a Google Meet, very simply where you see this button right here that says add conferencing, you drop down, this is where it asks to switch, and now you have your link, and this is automatically going to be sent out as a Google Meet with the link for people to select. If you want to send this out to everybody right away, you can come over to your guests, and in this spot, it will accept your own Google contact list. So if you created contact groups, you can start typing the name of that group there. You can do this individually and just type individual names. So you have some options. What I would do is pay attention to these guest permissions. I would leave this unchecked. You don't want people to be able to modify your event and come in here and change your settings. And if you're sending this out to students, I would strongly recommend unchecking the ability to invite other people, because then kids could invite other students that you maybe didn't want to have in that group. So I would suggest unchecking it, but it's a personal preference. And then you can decide if you want them to see the guest list or not. I don't think that's super relevant. You can choose to invite the guests right away, or you can wait. You can simply save this with no guests, and it'll just go on your calendar. And then when you're ready to invite them, if you want to set this up ahead of time and then wait till the day of the meeting, then you can go ahead and invite them, or you can invite them right away. So whichever you choose, just go ahead and save it. And you'll see now my class name is showing up on Tuesdays and Thursdays every single week, and it should end in June. To get back to my meeting, I can just come into here, click this link, and it'll take me directly to that meeting. You'll notice too, if you look at the last part of this link, if I go to the next one, it's the same. This is really handy too if you're doing a recurring meeting so that that link never changes. The kids could actually bookmark that link themselves if you're doing this with students or adults, whichever group you're using it with, and they can simply click on their bookmark to get back at the appropriate time when the meeting starts. That's another handy thing. So we're going to take a look at some things during the meeting. So if I'm going to go into this other meeting, I have another meeting where I have logged in as somebody else so that you can see what it looks like with somebody else involved in the meeting. So you have the people here. So if I click on people, it's going to show me a list of everybody that's in the meeting. There's also a chat box. So people can send messages down at the bottom down here. You can type in a message and everybody can chat that way. That's handy with larger groups, so you don't have people trying to talk over each other. Okay. Under the People tab, if you have somebody that either forgot to turn off their microphone or maybe they don't know how to turn off their microphone, you can mute them. So if you do a drop down here, if they do have their microphone on, you can simply click this button to mute them. You'll notice it says that you can't unmute somebody else. So if they've muted themselves, they're going to have to turn their microphone back on in order to talk. You can also remove somebody from the group. So if somebody was uninvited and they did come into your group and you didn't want them there, you can remove them. And then the pin, what that is doing is putting this person onto the main screen. So if I do this, notice the icon changes because that is the other person's camera. And since this camera is turned off, I just see their icon. If they had their camera on, I would see that person's face. To change that, I can go back to the list of people and simply unpin it and select myself. The last option that we're going to talk about today real quick is if you need to present your screen because you have a website that you want to introduce or you have a chart that you need to show everybody, whatever it is, you're going to click on Present Now. I prefer using entire screen. It's always worked really well for me. So click on entire screen, and then you'll notice that the share button does not light up. In order for that to happen, you first have to click on the screen so it knows that's the screen that you want to share, and now you'll see that it says share. So what that's going to do is it's going to remove my face from the center of the screen, and it would show everybody my desktop. And then I could go to a different tab and show them anything that I needed to show them. Well, I hope this helped, and if you have any questions, please let me know.